football manager Neil Lennon. Meanwhile, Sky sources say Strathclyde police have detained at least 2 people in connection with parcel bombs sent to Lennon earlier this year. Well, last night, Lennon was attacked after Gary Hooper scored Celtic's second goal of the evening. And here you can see a fan jumping over a barrier and running for him before throwing a punch. Lennon was held back as police handcuffed the man. Well, from another angle, a member of Lennon's staff is seen holding the man back, with Lennon seeming to retaliate.
Absolutely disgusting. Look at him at the barrier here. Look at that. Absolutely disgusting behaviour.
That is disgraceful and shameful, really, that there are people around like that in Scotland.
Well, the man was quickly pinned down by the police and taken away. Celtic's assistant manager said Lennon was shaken by the incident.
What happened to me is just it's a dark day for Scottish football. It's an absolute disgrace. I've never seen anything like it, and obviously he's a bit shaken, but okay, because Neil's been on the death threat, and obviously, yeah, what can he do? I mean, the guy could have had anything in his hand, so no, shocking.
Well, early this morning, Lennon posted on Twitter saying, "Don't let what happened to me tonight take the shine off a wonderful team performance. I don't walk alone." Well, let's get some reaction to the incident. The First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond, is joining us now live from Edinburgh. Good morning to you, Alex Salmond. What do you make of what happened last night?
Morning. Well, let's remember we've got sub judice rules in Scotland. Let's put it this way: there was a number of incidents last night at Tynecastle which were totally unacceptable, and all of them will be dealt with in the appropriate way.
Obviously, we can't talk about the incident itself, as you say. A man has been charged, but more generally, we have seen a rise in sectarian feeling, a rise in problems and antagonism in Scotland. What do you put that down to?
Well, let's be careful about this. We've seen some unacceptable sectarian displays and chanting at football matches, and we've seen some totally unacceptable communications through the internet of a sectarian kind. And what is happening is, through the work of the action group of the Old Firm clubs, football authorities, the government, is measures are being brought in to eliminate traces and displays of sectarianism from our football game, and also to make it possible to prosecute successfully people who do that through the internet. Now, there's no debate about this anymore. This is not a matter for discussion. There is agreement on what needs to be done, and that's the way it's going to be. We're going to eliminate sectarian displays from our football terraces, and we're going to make sure that people who portray hatred through the internet realise and find out they're not immune from prosecution. So that's how the matter will be dealt with.
It's a tough job to do that, though, isn't it?
Well, nobody's saying it was easy. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
And what's your feeling about Neil Lennon himself? He seems to have attracted an awful lot of bad feeling, perhaps a lightning rod for those feelings. Why do you think that is?
Well, look, I mean, people are entitled to go about their business as football managers or anything else in society without being threatened or without being assaulted, and that applies to Neil Lennon as it applies to everyone else. I mean, what the most important development today, if I may say so, is the progress that the police have made in their inquiries, and the fact that 2 men have been detained in police custody in the Strathclyde area. Now, you may remember we had, I think the previous time I was on this programme talking about the series of bomb threats and packages in Scotland. Now, I said then that the police investigation would be resourced in such a way that it yielded results. That has happened, and progress has now been made in the inquiries, and I think all of Scotland will be extremely pleased to hear that news today.
There were hopes, weren't there, that sectarian unrest from the past was burning itself out, if you like. It was becoming a historic issue. Are you troubled by the fact that it seems to be rearing its head again?
No, I think you've got to be careful as to what you ascribe. I mean, clearly Scottish society as a whole has made enormous progress. I mean, only last year we celebrated the visit to Scotland of His Holiness the Pope. That was celebrated by the entire country. I think His Holiness himself said it was one of the most enthusiastic receptions he'd received anywhere in the world. That is fantastic progress. Similarly, our church is united to to celebrate the 450th anniversary of the Reformation of Scotland. Now, neither of these things you could consider would have happened easily in Scotland a generation ago. Both of them did just last year. So throughout society, substantial progress has been made. However, it is quite clear that surrounding and attaching themselves, let's not talk about it as being part of football, it's not part of football. We've got some bigots and fools who attach themselves to the beautiful game of football, and football, quite rightly, along with the authorities and the government, is uniting to eradicate that from our terracing and from our stands and from the internet as well. As you rightly say, it's not going to be an easy task, but it's something that will be done.
Should questions be asked about security at football stadiums?
Well, I'm sure there will lots of questions will be asked about lots of things in lots of ways. But look, you know, there is always a temptation when something bad happens to see an explanation that so-and-so should have been doing this or somebody else should have been doing that. Let's be quite clear that what happens in Scotland, that those who are responsible, whoever they may be, for breaking the law or being engaged in unacceptable conduct, they are the people who are responsible. It's not the responsibility or failings of people whose job and duty is to prevent that happening. It's the people who conduct themselves in that way who are responsible. That's how the law regards it, that's how Scotland regards it, and that's how it will be dealt with.
Alex Salmond, First Minister of Scotland, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you.
A great pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
Let me just bring you a little bit of breaking news coming into us. We understand that the Attorney General has initiated contempt of court proceedings against two newspapers, The Sun and